everyone, and welcome to episode 82 of the Anime Banter podcast with your hosts, Turtle, Mike, and me, Sean. Thank you all for joining us today. How are you two doing?
I could be doing better.
I got a beer in hand, so I'm doing all right.
No, we drink to forget.
I also have a beer in hand. Sean, do you have a beer in hand?
No, I don't. I spent the past week on assignment, right? Because, if anyone following our podcast on the regular knows that last week, when recording, Mike and Turtle did an episode of Rule of Three. For people who don't listen to our podcast regularly, we occasionally do an episode called Rule of Three, where you watch 3 episodes and you decide, would I want to watch more or would I not want to watch more? And yeah, so far, Mike and Turtle have done them all, just two people. But coming up here, we're gonna have one with just Turtle and me, so stay tuned. Um, but when you guys were doing that, I was out on assignment to the cloudy city of Seattle.
You already live in a cloudy city.
That's right.
I I kid you not, I went over there. I felt like I was still at home. I go to Seattle. There are these steep hills in the city. Like I'm in an Uber riding up the steepest hill, and I'm like, man, this is just like Pittsburgh. I step outside and it's just raining. I'm like, man, this is like Pittsburgh. And I look up and it's just clouds, even when it's not raining, and I'm like, wow, it's like Pittsburgh.
Was it like very gray?
Yeah, pretty
Yeah.
much almost the entire time I was there.
Yeah, it is Pittsburgh.
Yep. I know that Pittsburgh and Seattle have competed in the past for most overcast days, and yes, Pittsburgh has won that battle at times. I know some other overcast cities like Buffalo competes pretty hard for that. Um, but yeah, so I was in Seattle for a wedding and my 10-year anniversary, and let me tell you, I did a lot of drinking on this trip.
Well, before you tell us about your drinking, happy anniversary.
Yes,
Oh,
happy
Te-
anniversry, my friend.
10
thank
years is
you.
a hell of an accomplishment.
Yeah, it's 10 years. I got married pretty young, um, but yeah, it's still pretty happy. So
And
it's
with all the drinking you did, do you want to do Sean's beer of the week?
Ooh.
oh, hold on, did I have any good beers? I can't remember the name of them. I don't do the like Untapped or anything like that. You know what I mean? Like it would help me keep track of all the beers I've had.
Yup, that's part of the reason I do it.
But yeah, I did go to a microbrew. Uh, there's this group called McMinimans out there, and what they do is they buy like old historic buildings and kind of like flip them and turn them into like really nice like bars and restaurants. And we went to one. My wife and I have a map. This is seriously how we ended up here. My wife and I have a map, and on the map is like haunted locations across America. But we found out about an hour outside Seattle, there was a place called the Olympic Club, I think Olympia Club or Olympic Club. Um, but we went there, and it was like an old men's club, pretty much, right? So they turned into it like it's a nice restaurant. They had, like pool tables and shuffleboard and things like that. They had a theater, and where you could like go and watch old movies. I think on Halloween they were playing The Shining. You go watch old movies there, and they legitimately had just like a bunch of like love seats as the chairs. Like it's not like a traditional movie theater. It was like end tables and love seats. And I was like, this is so cool. It looks so comfy. and then uh and then they also had a hotel attached to it. And so that's a spooky place on our map that we visited. But we learned about other places that McMinimans has. And one is a former Elks Club. If you guys know anything about the Elks Club, it's just like an old like Christian men's club back in the day, but apparently it used to be like huge. These men's clubs, right? So the Elks Club, that one shut down, but McMenamin's bought it. And like on the first floor, there's like a bottle shop and tiki bar. Second floor, there's like a bar and a like a place for live music, like a stage and like a gymnasium kind of. look for standing room. So they have live music there sometimes, which we went to on November 1st, the day after Halloween, because they had a costume party there, and we're like, well, Halloween's the 31st. Why not put our costumes back on for the first and go listen to a band play covers of spooky tunes? So we did. Uh,
Cool.
yeah, third floor is like they have like pinball machines and like pool tables. Fourth floor is just a really nice restaurant, and on one of the floors there's a secret bar with a max occupancy of 27 people. That's like all who's allowed in it, but everyone wants to go to the secret bar, right? The cocktails were out of this world. This is not a. I'm not sponsored by McMinimans, but it was really cool, and they have like a passport. If you visit all their locations, you get like a bunch of really cool stuff. So yeah, if I lived up that way, I'd probably buy in on some of that. Uh, but yeah, on Halloween, I attended a wedding, which is funny. Like you're up there for your anniversary, but I'm like, yeah, I actually was up there because not because of my anniversary, because of a wedding of two friends of mine, and it was really fun. They rented out a castle up there called Thornwood Castle, and they filmed the miniseries Rose Red there, which is like a early 2000s Stephen King miniseries that aired over a few nights on TV, and it's one of my wife's favorite like pieces of media out there. I don't want to say movie. It's not quite a. It's not a movie, but it's a show. It's not really a show either. Yeah, that's how miniseries are. So, but it's one of her favorites. So, uh, and it was just a coincidence they got married there, and they did filming for the show there, for the miniseries at that location. So we were stoked, to say the least. But the wedding was fun. It was a costume wedding. Um, and in the city of Seattle, I didn't do too much crazy stuff. Favorite part of the city that I had was you can go into the tunnels underground. So we're like walking underground, like below businesses and things like that, like under the sidewalk. And apparently, a lot of people try and sneak in there and have parties and stuff like that. So, but yeah, the tunnels aren't necessarily the most safe thing in the world. Like the city lets them have tours, but it's because it's a controlled environment and things like that. Like you couldn't open up a bar down there or something. It'd be very, very unsafe, and certainly not ADA friendly. But yeah, the tunnel's really cool. On that tour, our tour guide gave us an unbelievable amount of Seattle history, and it was the most fun way I could have thought of learning the history of Seattle. Uh, for the nerds over here, they do have a museum there called Mopop, and it's a I can't remember what it stands for, but it's a huge pop culture museum. I did not get to go because the one day that I was free to go there was a Wednesday, and apparently they were just closed.
Oh.
Yeah, it was odd. I'm like, oh, okay, you guys are just. Oh, maybe it was Tuesday. It was no Wednesday. Yeah, they're just
It's a
closed on
weird day
Wednesdays.
to
I'm like, oh,
it's a weird day to pick to be closed.
yeah, yeah, very odd. So I did not get to go to the Pop Culture Museum, but if I ever go back, I think I'll swing in there. They have like a ton of movie props and things like that. Like just all kind of stuff. So I really wanted to see their horror exhibit before Halloween, but oh well, it's fine. Uh, so yeah, Seattle's a fun experience. There are definitely more things I can do there. I was bummed out because very interestingly on the 15th, I kept getting ads for it. There's an experience called like the Tomb Raider experience, where I think it's almost kind of like an immersive Tomb Raider escape room type of thing.
Oh.
And I thought that that would have been
Anything to do
fun.
with the video game?
Oh yeah, like officially licensed Tomb Raider.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, not just like a Tomb Raider themed escape room, like official Tomb Raider themed um like fan experience type of thing. Um
That's pretty
like
cool.
officially licensed, which is crazy. At least I think so. Maybe I'm wrong, but oh. So yeah, Seattle was a oh, and we also went to a place called House of Spirits. If you're into like role play and LARP and things like that, the House of Spirits is really fun because you get to like chat with spirits and kind of like solve a mystery about what happened to the family. Um, and it was really cool. It was really fun. I drank a lot during that too. The ticket came with like mini cocktails. We bought the VIP, which afforded us one extra mini cocktail. So, yeah. So I had a bunch of mini cocktails there, and it was only like 10 minutes from my hotel, via Uber. So lots of fun. But then I came back to reality.
Hopefully you didn't have too hard of a landing back at here at reality.
It's been pretty rough.
At least the clouds stayed consistent for you.
Yeah, yeah. Actually, the weather's been nicer here than it was in Seattle. Seattle, I had to wear a jacket most of the time I was out there. I come back here, I'm like, What's like? Why is this weather nice?
Yeah, the weather has been weird here lately. It's been nice when it shouldn't be.
Uh, but So anyway, in conclusion, that's why I'm not having a beer because I had far too much all last week. So taking a break till the weekend. But in a show where no one consumes alcohol, today we are talking about episode 5 of the Hashira Training Arc of Demon Slayer and episode 155 of My Hero Academia. Wait a second, guys. Does All Might even like still have a liver? Like,
That-
can you even consume alcohol? I don't even know. Like,
That's
they
a
showed his
fair
body, and
question.
I'm like, dude's jacked up. Oh, what side of him is jacked up though? Hold up, because your liver is on your right. Um. Uh. All Might injury. I'm googling this now live on the podcast. Oh, it's on his left. Probably didn't affect his liver. All right.
All right,
All
he can
Might
still
can still
drink.
drink. Yeah, he can still drink. I doubt he does though. Demon Slayer Hashira Training Arc, Episode 5. I even ate demons. Yeah, I don't know. What a weird title. But the episode starts where last week's after credit scene leaves off. They extend the scene of the love Hashira, Mitsuri Konroji, feeding Tanjiro some pancakes. She also asks him to put on a pink outfit, and then the opening theme begins.
I know I don't think we talked about it last time with the whole pancake thing, but I love how Tanjiro is like, "How do I eat these?"
Yeah, it was
It's
pretty
like
wild.
it. What? What? How do I eat pancakes? Like, there are many ways you can use a fork and knife. I mean, they're floppy. You could just pick them up with your hand if you really wanted to be a savage. Like,
You could do it
maybe
though.
you want to get crazy, throw some sausage in there, and like make like a taco out of it with wrap the pancake around some sausage and cheese and egg.
Yeah, it had me wondering, like, we eat pancakes all the time, but like this is set in a very old time period. So I'm like, do pancakes exist? They have to exist because she knows about them. Why does he not know about them? How did she find out about them? When did the
This is
pancake come into existence?
Well, Tanjiro's a
this,
country bumpkin though.
True. I found it fascinating.
but they don't have pancakes in the country.
Not where he lived, I guess.
This is the lore I need.
Yeah,
This is the
right.
lore I crave. Just give me the next episode, the next arc. I want it to be the pancake arc.
Right. That's good. Before we fight any kind of demons, we need to learn all about pancakes.
Maybe the demons are very anti pancake, and the demon hunters are very pro pancake.
Maybe the demons are weak to pancakes. If they ate them, they would be destroyed. So this could be their ultimate weapon, and they don't even know it.
Give us the lore. Give us the lore of the pancake.
You guys ever notice how almost every single woman in this show, this season has just fed people?
Yes.
Yeah,
The only reason I picked up on it is because it's been your waifu of the week pretty much every week.
that's true.
I mean, to be fair, I'm not choosing them as the waifu of the week. Like, I'm choosing them because they brought food. I'm just saying, if like, I don't know, one of the other characters would bring some food, like to the party, then I would pick them as the waifu of the week. But it only happens to be women. Anyway, that's just par for the course for anime. Uh, so we go to all the trainees wearing dance leotards. Only Tanjiro seems hyped. Every scene, all the other guys are distraught. Tanjiro is like so excited and moving around. Uh, gleefully. Uh, there were a few scenes in here during this montage. We love a good montage here at the Anime Banter podcast. During the training montage, a few scenes got me, made me laugh. The crow moving the crank on the phonograph to make the music made me laugh. The expressions of the trainees got me, and Conroji helping a trainee stretch. Uh, and she pretty much just broke the dude's legs, and
The stretching got me.
yeah,
She's like, not like that, like this, like I showed you. Wham!
makes a guy do a split.
Was a very funny montage.
Even Tanjiro was like, oh no!
I think
Oh my god! Yeah,
for the first time, Tanjiro has been so psyched about training. This is the first time he's like, "This is torture."
Yeah, actually, it's a good point. Yeah, he's been a good sport until then. But the scene was pure comedy, and I was here for it. But I was watching the episode, and we move on to the Serpent Hashira, and I was like, oh, they're just gonna have a chat, and I didn't realize that's literally it for the Love Hashira's training, and I was actually a little disappointed by that.
As was I.
yeah,
I was very
same.
disappointed.
I thought they could do a little bit more, especially when she was like, "Oh, flexibility is like ballet and dance, and flexibility is a big part of like your movements and everything." I'm like, okay, we're gonna see like his movements, like the flexibility help him, and it's like, nope, here's a split, you're done. Because I mean, Lin Swan, he took
Yeah,
ballet lessons, and it made him a hell of a receiver.
absolutely. Yeah, I feel like this whole episode was just sort of on fast forward, but we'll talk about that as we go through it.
So we move on. The Serpent Hashira, Obanai Igoro, is shown next. He's been waiting for Tanjiro for some time. Tanjiro starts his usual speech about how excited he is to train with a Hashira, but he's cut off by Igoro, who says, "Shut up or I'll kill you." Konroji sent apparently uh Konroji sent Igoro a letter that says, "Oh my gosh, Tanjiro is so cute," and Igoro's very jealous of Tanjiro and is going to give him very intense training as payback. They go do the training, and Igoro opens the door. It shows a bunch of trainees just tied up on wooden posts facing various directions. I just love like the scenes where like all the trainees appear to be being tortured. Cracks me up.
Please don't
I think
hurt
every
me.
episode. Yeah, yeah, every episode is people pleading for their life. So here's the goal here. Tanjiro is going to strike targets that are like between the wooden pillars, and he's going to do this while avoiding human obstacles to refine his swordsmanship skills. So slash between the people to hit the little targets. Um, the people tied up in there were apparently guilty of crimes of weakness, incompetence, wasting Igoro's time, and annoying him. They're lucky to be alive.
These poor trainees. They just keep getting more beat up every episode we see them.
Serpent Hashira has a huge crush on Miss Conroji.
Yeah, he does. I don't remember us ever getting that before. So I mean, I'm crushing on her too.
Yeah, I feel like if you're into women even a little bit, like now the insect Hashira is more my type personally, but I understand the charms of the love Hashira. So Tanjiro is going to use a wooden sword. Oh wait, did I already do that?
No,
No. Okay. Sorry, all this training is boggling out my mind here.
no, that's fair.
So Tanjiro's handed a wooden sword. He's going to use that. The goal is to hit the small target placed between the tied up recruits. Tanjiro tries to hit them, but hesitates with every swing because he doesn't want to hurt anyone. Igoro has Tanjiro swing at him between the trainees. So instead of swing at the target, swing at me, right? He swings at him, and Tanjiro hesitates again, and Igoro gives him a good whack for his hesitation. The training continues with Tanjiro swinging between trainees and Igoro whacking him. Tanjiro is struggling mightily.
I love how Tanjiro's like, I could hear their pleas for help. Please don't hit me. Please don't hurt me.
Their cries reach all the way to my soul.
Also, the demon slayers that are tied up, how is this helping their training at all?
Yeah, no, it's not. He sort of like he must have stopped the entire training regimen to tie these people up just to like abuse Tanjiro.
It's very odd, but I don't know. It works as a visual.
It does.
At the end of their training session, Tanjiro keeps training after official training ends. He's just smacking the targets because he doesn't want to cut any of them. Like they ask him like, "What are you doing?" And he's like, "If I practice now without you here, I'll be better at slashing when you are here." And so they join in the training and start swinging their swords as well.
The power of friendship.
After training, the trainees are looking at the bath, nervous that it's going to sting after all their bumps and bruises. All the men jump in at once, and indeed the water does sting. But back to training. More Tanjiro getting whacked, more stinging baths. Day 3 is more the same. And on to day 4, Tanjiro talks about how if your sword is caught on something, it can be fatal. His strikes are becoming more accurate. He's getting better at dodging and attacking with precision. Tanjiro slashed Iguro's sleeve during the training, and that finishes his training. Iguro he tells him off and says, "Don't get too friendly with the love Hashira."
Or do, you can do what you want. I'll ship it.
Yeah, I'm down with it. Next up is the Wind Hashira, Sonami Shinazugawa. Now I'm gonna call him Shinazugawa because that's like what they call him in the show. But then you realize I totally forgot there were two Shinazugawas. Like they get to this with us and like Genya, who uses gun style breathing. Like I forgot that they were brothers. So I'm gonna call him Shinazugawa. I'm gonna call Genya Genya, even though he also has the name Shinazugawa.
That's fair. I also forgot these two were brothers.
They almost weren't anymore.
Yeah, I kind of forgot that the younger brother existed again.
Who Genya?
Yeah, I kind of forgot about him already.
I
But he
remember
has
Genya. I
the
just
gun
forgot they were
breathing.
brothers.
I mean, it's been so long since the previous season, and he was only in episode 1 of this season, so I kind of forgot him.
Yeah, that's okay. I forgot a bunch of stuff in the I'm glad they've done a good job of subtly giving us like a few recaps. It's like what we know about some of the characters. Uh, yeah, I'm just glad they did that. But either way, Shinazugawa's training, Wind Hashira. Tanjiro is walking when we're treated to a jump scare. Zenitsu drops down from the sky right into Tanjiro's face, and they both start screaming. He's begging for escape from Shinazugawa's training. Shinazugawa tracks him down and gives him a good slap. Tanjiro puts Zenitsu on his back and starts carrying him. Tanjiro is looking forward to the training, and Shinazugawa asks him to calm down. Says he doesn't respect Tanjiro yet. And Tanjiro kind of surprises us and says, "That's okay because I don't respect you either. You stabbed Nezuko." We cut to the commercial break.
I love that.
As did I. That was amazing.
Like, Tanjiro's been like super respectful to like every other Hashira. He's been like, can't wait to train under you, can't wait to learn, da 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 da. And that's like, nah, I don't respect you. You can go F off.
He was just so straightforward with it, and he wasn't being, like, disrespectful either. He was just saying, "Hey, I don't respect you either. You stabbed Nezuko," and he walked away.
I love how the Wind Hashira was so shocked. It's like, was not expecting that.
That was pretty awesome.
I also love Zenitsu, where he's like, he's always just in a constant state of panic. And I can
Yeah,
appreciate that.
he's constantly freaking out.
I can't tell if I like Zenitsu or not. Like he's always just screaming all the time, and he's also
Yeah.
kind of lecherous.
Yes.
So he's just like always screaming and panicking, and he's lecherous, and he's really at his best when he gets knocked out and the other Zenitsu comes out and actually does fighting.
Yeah, that's true.
You also have to turn your TV down like 3 or 4 clicks for when he's on the screen screaming.
Yes, that's also true. He does yell a lot.
But I'm wondering, they didn't really elaborate. Has he passed any of the other trainings, or did he start here? Like, we don't know, right? I mean,
Yeah, we don't know.
I would like to know how
I
many
thought
trainings
he
of this
did
guy's
some of
been
the
in.
other trainings because I thought we saw him previously some other time.
I mean, he showed up in, like, the hospital episodes, and he was like, "Okay, I'm off to go train," but I don't know, like, where he started and where he's been.
They haven't been doing a good job of telling us, like, how do you know you're ready to move on to the next Hashira? If you don't pass the first one, is the first one always the stamina training? Or do different people start at different areas and move and twist around, right?
Yeah, they haven't really covered that.
Shinazugawa is brutally beating people in training, which kind of seems like a theme here for all the trainees, really. But this training is simple. You charge Shinazugawa, and he defends himself. Tanjiro is battered, bruised, and covered in his own vomit. Yeah, rough training. In the bathhouse, Genya is speaking with Shinazugawa, who then tells Genya to learn some boundaries. He says that he doesn't have a younger brother, and says that he's a freak. He can't even use breathing techniques, and he's not a true swordsman. Genya wants to apologize to his older brother, but the Wind Hashira does not care. Then, Genya admits that he's eaten demons just to be able to fight. And Shinazugawa is completely disgusted. He sees red. He disappears and reappears, trying to gouge out Genya's eyes. Tanjiro lunges and saves Genya. They fall out of the side of the building, but nothing can stop Shinazugawa's bloodlust towards Genya. Shinazugawa will let Genya leave the Demon Slayer core, or else he'll break him beyond repair. Tanjiro defends Genya, saying that they could not have beaten the upper ranker without his help. Some famous, um, some like famous cliche type of words like, "If you break him, you'll have to break me too." And Shinazugawa pretty much says, "It's breaking time."
I must break you.
If he dies, he dies.
So the battle starts. Tanjiro stops a punch and then responds with a kick to the neck. By the way, I don't know if you guys have kind of noticed. I feel like Tanjiro's been doing slightly better against the Hashira recently. Like with the battling. So I feel like I'm glad they've shown us that, like, yeah, maybe he's not quite Hashira level yet, but he's actually getting kind of close.
I have noticed that. Like, and you can really what really sells it is when he gets the blows in, all the other trainees like freak out. They're like, "What? He got it? Like he hit him?" Like they were at a complete loss of words.
Yeah, and the Hashira seem to be surprised too when he does, finally make contact with him. But, yeah, this whole scene, like, escalated rather quickly, didn't it?
Absolutely. Um, Shinazugawa does a kick and grazes Tanjiro's ear. There's a little bit of blood there. Tanjiro yells out to Zenitsu, and Zenitsu grabs Genya and starts to run away as the other trainees join in and brawl for a while. So they join Tanjiro in the brawl. Um, Shinazugawa cools down by nightfall. Goes a while. But he then decides to not beat Genya to a pulp.
That was nice of him.
Yeah, great brother. Tanjiro's mark hasn't grown at all. He notes, uh, and he also got kicked out of Shinazugawa's training.
I wonder
Just
why.
yeah, and I guess Zenitsu was also kicked out probably for helping Genya, and we needed a way to transition Zenitsu to the next episode, I guess. But Tanjiro and Zenitsu walk to the top of a mountain where recruits, including Inosuke, are sitting under a waterfall. They turn around and the stone Hashira, Himajima, um, is sitting on an open flame. The guys freak at the scene that they are seeing. and it is now time to start the next round of training. So, what did you guys think about this episode?
I'm glad we're finally getting into the main event with the next episode. There's only, 3 or 4 episodes left. We sort of cruised through this episode so we could give the stone Hashira more time.
Yeah, we're most certainly cruising through this one. We went through 3 Hashira in, like, 1 episode. That's insane. I was kinda disappointed by this episode, actually, because we went through 3 Hashira in 1 episode. Like, the first couple episodes where we got to do the Hashira training, they went into some detail about how the training, like, is gonna improve and how it works and what you're gonna gain, and, like, this was just like, "Blitz, love Hashira, do some stretches, quick, fight the snake guy, don't hit your allies, quick, go to the wind guy, get kicked out, next." It's like, "Wow, okay, we blitzed through this." So, a little bummed out by this one. I think it was going by way too fast.
I'm okay with it though, because it's been cool to see all the Hashira doing some training, but also give me the meat and potatoes, please.
Yeah, I do. Here's what they gotta do. They gotta make us care about all the Hashira before they kill them all off. Now, to be fair, I don't have spoilers. I haven't read the manga, so if you're a manga reader out there and you're like, "How did he know?" The answer is, I don't know. I was just guessing. But also if they all live and you're like, "What is he talking about?" Also realize I am just guessing. So I don't know what's gonna happen. I'm really looking forward to the movies though. All that talking's made me thirsty though. Makes me want to go get a beer.
Well, you know what they say, alcohol's the best medicine, and that means it's time for Mike's Beer of the Week. This week's beer comes to you from Aslan Brewing, and it is their Daddy Juice, a 6% sour that is full of blueberry, mango, vanilla, and milk sugar. This beer was fantastic. Great sour, lot of fruit, lot of flavor. Every sip was just fantastic. I'm pretty sure this is Shinomiya's favorite beer from its name, because I'm still doing that ship of her and Kafka.
Why try to invoke rage?
Because I know it's your favorite ship, Sean.
I'm
The
muting
SS
myself.
Shinomiya.
Yeah, I'm muting myself.
Sean's out for the rest of this episode.
I threw that line in there just for you, Sean.
Thanks.
You're welcome. Don't say I don't ever get you anything. The untapped average rating is a 4.06, and I give it a 3.75. Now that our thirst has been quenched, let's shift gears and talk about My Hero Academia Season 7. My Hero Academia 155. Hopes. Central Hospital. After Kirigiri's appearance, we see a doctor who looks like Super Mario telling Lady Nagant to get back in bed. She remembers what Deku said to her about having the heart of a hero. Back in present day, she shoots off Shigaraki's other hand before he can touch the ground, as Deku removes them both from the coffin by flying away. Are we going to get any sort of backstory on how she didn't die from being, exploded?
Nope.
No, literally no explanation.
This would actually be like a good thing to go backwards to explain how she didn't explode.
It's like, remember the last time you saw this hero? She exploded? She's fine. It was just CGI effect. All for One starts yelling at Lady Nagant until Shigaraki starts talking shit against them. Shigaraki says he doesn't like how they began to merge, so he hid his core from All for One so he can follow his own path. Shigaraki calls for Kurogiri to teleport him to All for One's location. Kurogiri begins to freak out and talk about his friends. But by his friends, does he mean Shigaraki? Or does he mean President Mike and Eraserhead?
Yeah, I just assumed it was President Mike and Eraserhead, but now that you mention it, I guess he could mean Shigaraki. Um,
I really dug the visuals of when he was, like, talking about his friends because it's like, you had, like, the overlay of, like, him and Shigaraki and then President Mike and Eraserhead, so it's like, it can literally go any of the ways, and, like, when they showed Kirigiri, it was, like, part him as Kurogiri, but also part him, like, as a student when he was not transformed and everything.
Yeah, so that's kind of interesting where I could see him flipping back to the good side if he gets his memories back as to who he was before, just portal guy. But yeah, I'm not again, like I don't like or understand the whole all for one and Shigaraki fusion, and now they're unfusing. So why do that in the first place? I don't know. Moving on,
Also, pretty interesting that, Shigaraki's core is him as a young kid.
which is tying into the whole Deku thing. I see a little kid crying. Yeah, yeah, we get it.
Turtle was not amused.
No, no, not amused. I'm still confused by this season.
Gentle's elasticity is starting to fail as Labrava continues to hack the coffin to fix it. Really digging the look of Gentle's hands, like, breaking and shooting the blood and just, like, as he's trying to hold up the coffin. It was a really cool visual here.
It shows you the struggles. It's
It
the
does.
struggles he's gone through. Hey, I just want to throw this out there. In the middle of your thought here, Mike. Does someone else think like the age gap between Labrava and Gentle is weird? Did we talk about that last week at all?
I can't
I don't
remember if
know
we
if we did.
it is odd. Like, I took it more, like, as Labrava sees Gentle as, like, a father figure, though, and Gentle sees her more as a daughter. Nothing more than that.
It's really weird when like she gets all blushy and hard eyes though.
Yeah, because I've googled like what are their ages. Um, According to one website, I saw that Gentle's only 32 years old.
What?
Yeah, and apparently Labrava is like 21 years old.
Huh?
Huh?
Yeah, so there's really only around a 10-year age gap, but like they've also been like together for like a while. It's not like they just met. Like he's 32 and she's 21, where she's of age. Pretty sure they met when she was underage, or at least she'd been following him online. This is a story where like like one of those YouTubers starts talking to a girl while she's underage on Discord, and then like she starts dating him as soon as she like on her 18th birthday. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
that's what it seems like, and their relationship always weirded me out. I also don't know why they draw her like a little girl. I don't know what that decision was to make her look like she's 3 feet tall.
Yeah. Very
Um,
strange.
well, because that's the way I saw it. I thought he was like a dude in his 50s or something like, or like 40s or 50s, and she was like a young girl who happened to be good at like computers, who like idolized him. So yeah, I thought it was more like an idol thing than it was like a romantic relationship. But then I read their age gap and I'm like, wait, is this thing romantic? Because like I hope not. I don't know. It's always weirded me out. Sorry, that was my. I wouldn't call that anime ranter. More like anime being puzzled, or I don't know.
I don't have an intro for that segment, everybody. Sorry.
No, yeah, no intro for that one. Sorry.
Gentle spots the business students and tells them to hide. But they want to keep filming to show the masses what the heroes are doing. La Brava hacks the phones of the business students to show how heroic Gentle is being. The real question is, will Gentle go through a name change after this? Instead of being known as Gentle Criminal, will he become known as Gentle Hero?
Ooh, I kind of like that.
Yeah, I'm cool with that. Actually, yeah. He was no longer a gentle boy. He was a gentle man. Nah, I don't know. Nah, gentle hero is pretty good. It seems he's going right back to prison.
Kurogiri continues to freak out as the Twice army attacks Eraserhead and Preston Mike. The two begin to fall as Kurogiri opens a portal for them.
With the power of friendship, baby.
the strongest force on this planet, according to anime.
That's right. He doesn't even know who they are, and he saved them.
We move to the Gunga Villa site. The Twice army is running wild on the heroes as All for One flies over, contemplating Shigaraki's rebellion against the two of them merging. Hawks is giving chase as they fly over Dobby's flames. He attempts to attack All for One, but is unable to connect with his sword. All for One turns and says, "You still don't know how strongly the wind blows in my favor." As he twists his wrist, and Hawks just fades from existence, shocking Dark Shadow and myself.
And me.
Uh, I read the manga and I was like, wait, does Hawk survive this battle or not? And they showed that, and I'm like, oh yeah, maybe not. I legit can't remember if Hawk survives this battle or not. So it's fun. It's like I'm going through it for the first time.
I feel like that would have been like the perfect place for an end credit to happen.
Yeah. Just leave you
Like,
hanging on the suspense, like what
you
actually
literally
happened.
have to wait a week to figure out
Dude, if I
what.
waited a week for like what they show next, I would be so ticked off.
That's also a good point.
I would be livid if they came back with this.
It's like you wait a whole week thinking Hawks is dead, and then it's just like, just kidding. Hawks, you're getting the anime hottie treatment. And you're gonna say, ouchies, I was flying so fast because I wanted to be with you. As some hero appears, calling that a close call. And hold on, I gotta like brace my 30, my mid late 30 heart for these phrases I'm about to say. She calls Hawks a total Riz cake, that you can't unalive that snack, and she would totally enter her grief era. What show did I start watching all of a sudden?
I'm actually glad like you wrote that down because I have no idea what she said until you just, I'm reading this.
I'm conversational in brain rot, so I get it. Um, it's just this is one of those things I think where people in the sub versus the dub, right? Um it is a classic conundrum here. I would be very surprised if the subtitled version used those words.
Yeah.
In a lot of cases, there are a couple things missing in translation from sub to dub. Sometimes in anime they do use slang, but it's slang that they're used to using in Japan. So in dub they kind of like they take the slang away and just replace it with regular words. So this character might be using like a lot of internet and social media slang in this scene, but in Japanese potentially. And so they said, hey, let's like throw a bunch of slang and stuff like that into here for the English dub. Now, I didn't watch the sub because I'm a filthy casual, and so I don't really know what like the subtitles said. I have some extreme doubts it was this exactly though. But yeah, a lot of times, people pretend that in anime they never use slang or like lingo that's just kind of like in at the time, but they do. It just doesn't translate well to English. So a lot of times they don't try and compete with it in English. So yeah, for everyone who's like, "Oh, I hate the dub," I'm like, yeah, they're just kind of like trying to translate some, probably written by an elder millennial who's like, "How do high school kids talk?"
Right.
Now that's kind of cringe in itself. Um, but I don't know. I don't have much else to say about that. But yeah, I wanted to give the context as someone who knows a lot about brain rot speak.
I mean that makes perfect sense if, in the Japanese language they use some slang that makes sense in that language but wouldn't make sense elsewhere. Like we'd be getting it out of context. So instead of translating it exact, the dub studio decides, well, let's take a little liberty. She's using a slang in Japanese. Let's use some slang in English to stay true to her character. We're just going to use English slang for the English dub. So to me, that makes sense. I just didn't know what she said. I guess that makes me old.
We learned that the Shigetsu High School heroes are here to help in the battle.
Did we say stupid shit like that when we were in high school?
Yes.
I don't remember me ever saying stupid shit like that, but I'm not
Yes.
saying it
Was
didn't
it
happen.
Did they ever put this stupid shit into Dragon Ball Z though when we were in high school?
No.
DBZ's different.
There
They're not high school students except for Gohan.
was the Gohan saga, which I do like that high school stuff.
Yeah,
I'm
and see,
probably
that
the
was
only
plenty
one.
cringe. It from time to time. So
You just didn't like the Great Saiyan man, did you?
no, I love the Great Saiyan man. I'm not even joking. I felt like I actually liked the direction they were taking with the show with that stuff, and then the fans didn't, and just ruined everything, and make Goku the good guy again, and all that stuff.
Speaking of
Gohan
Great
gets out.
Saiyan man, I've been getting into Dokkan Battle, and
Oh
there's
no.
a Dragon Ball Superheroes event happening right now, and I would love to know who like came up with some of these characters because they just like fuse all the characters into like together and it's weird. But like there's a Great Saiyan Man 4 now, I guess.
What?
But yeah. Also, there's this monster who I think is called like Alms or something, who looks like he has like a giant like beast hole. Turtle, you would get this reference. The gluttony portal from Full Metal Brotherhood.
Okay, okay.
That's
Yeah.
that's like his center, and then like one half is like a monstrous looking Cell, and then one half is like a monstrous looking Frieza, and it's weird. And it's just like some hellscape of a character, and then I'm pretty sure they just like fuse Trunks with every character. There's like Gohanks now, and then there's obviously Gotenks, and then there's Vajanks. I'm like, is Dragon Ball Super just we're gonna fuse every character with Trunks and you're gonna like it?
And this is why I don't play Dokkan Battle.
It's just an event right now, but I think Dragon Ball Super. I think that was it like a gotcha machine exclusive to Japan, and they made a show out of it. It's never come stateside though.
Oh yeah, there's a card game that's a video game that got an anime, but it never came over here,
And there was a
you know,
Switch
dubbed or
game
anything.
for it.
Yes, yeah, that did actually make its way over.
Yeah, I bought it, and it's not good.
It's
I
got
I,
all kinds of goofy shit in
I played it for like 2 hours. I'm like, this game's trash.
it. I didn't get it.
Anyways, back to my hero. Just had to get the weird Dragon Ball superheroes take off my chest because it's been bugging me for the past couple days. All for One tries to take a quirk from one of the Twice army, but says he needs to touch a real body to take their quirk. I was so confused by this because it's like, yo, this is just like a clone army. Were you hoping that the one random clone that you grabbed was actually Toga?
Right? What are the odds of that? Like 1 in a billion?
Yeah, pretty dumb.
All for One then grows some weird, like, branch, spore, laser beam looking things out of his back. And then he begins to add other additional quirks to his attacks. All for One begins to give a speech of how, back in my day, I was king. And Yorahashi, the Sugetsu high school student, just replies with a, okay, boomer.
He used to walk uphill both ways to get to school.
Hawks gives a pep talk, which All for One tries to shut down, until Dark Shadow goes Super Saiyan behind him, blacking out the sky. He uses Dark Shadow, Total Release. The other heroes begin to help power him up. He then lands Black Abyss, Light of Boulder on All for One. And this was just fantastic artwork here.
Yeah. This scene looked great. Dark Shadow is doing something which is awesome. and I'm hoping we're gonna finally reach the end of All for One because I'm still sick of him.
But we aren't.
I know we're not.
They're not gonna. You think they're gonna give the win to Dark Shadow? Come on,
It
this is
would
shonen
surprise
anime.
everybody. It would surprise everybody.
This is shonen anime. We gotta get Midoriya over here, probably, right?
He's gonna
Like,
beat Shigaraki and All for One
yeah,
in
at
the
the
same
same
episode.
time.
with
Yeah,
both hands tied behind his back.
Yeah,
he's gonna get his arms chopped off, but his arms are gonna be replaced by black whips, and then
yeah,
he's gonna use the black whips. And that gear up thing that he uses, he already ran out of times with it, but he's gonna go plus ultra to use it again
right. And have no backlash from it.
and have no backlash. Yeah. To be fair, I am just messing around. But you gotta love the shonen cliche writing.
Sean, I will say, when he called out this attack Black Abyss Light of Balder, I so wanted to call it Light of Baldur's Gate.
Good game though. Yeah, in the early days of the podcast, I was talking about it like every single week. Yeah, but I guess Light of Balder, I imagine he's referencing the god Balder, right? Like of Norse mythology. It's what I can imagine.
I would assume so.
But I don't know, whatever. It was either way, it was super cool, and I loved it.
After the credits, President Mike tells us about moments ago when the battle turned, that neither side was assured victory. Froppy points out that this could have been way worse. Toga can only use Twice's quirk to create doubles, but now not how Twice could create clones of people and use their quirks as well. She says they need to find the real Toga quickly. Toga wonders what is wrong with her, as she can only use Twice's quirk and not the other quirks. And she wonders, very upset, why she can't become Jean. What did you two think of this episode?
Let me go first, Turtle. If you don't mind.
Yeah, go ahead.
Um, uh, it was fine. I really wish they didn't have the after credit scene because I just don't care about Toga at all, personally. Um, it's just not interesting to me. Um, and so I wish they didn't have that. But before that, the episode was fine. There were some questionable pieces like how is Lady Nagant somehow not blown up? Um, they kind of do the stuff with Gentle and the business students, and I wouldn't say the episode was all over the place, but they're moving fast, and a lot of side characters got a lot of spotlight. And I do like me a big cast with a lot of side characters, so I can't complain about jumping around because I love my side characters. Um, Overall, though, what like saves the episode, if you will, is the very end, the Dark Shadow, total release and everything like that. All that stuff gets you so hyped. So I really liked it.
Surprisingly, I don't really hate this episode. I don't love it by any means. Um, I think the early bits of it are kind of boring, but I like the Dark Shadow bits. I thought that was good. The post credit thing with what's her face Toga. I just don't care about Toga anymore either. I was interested in her as a character, like from the beginning when they introduced her, and they would slowly have her appear and disappear and reappear, and we'd get little bits and be like, "What's her deal?" And we've reached this point where I just don't care anymore. She's a psychopath, and she can't figure out why she can't become somebody else, and I don't give a shit. Um, so yeah, I'm ready to just have her go away too, and move on with this. So it was all right.
I really dug this episode. I would call it one of the stronger episodes of this season. Maybe it's just because the past couple episodes have been so meh, but
I
I
mean,
really dug this episode.
a 1 star is better than a 0 star, so I'll give you that.
I won't call it a 1 star. It
I'd
was a
give this one a 1 star.
it was a 3.5 out of 5 in my opinion.
I'd give it a 1. There was the one episode that I liked, with Deku was a good episode. All the other episodes beforehand for me have like been zeros. Not like this season at all. To no one's surprise, I've been very vocal with that.
And now it is time for the waifu of the week. Sean, why don't you start us off this week?
Yes, I was very worried about who to pick, but very early in the Demon Slayer episode, and I understand last week's waifu of the week was Love Hashira Mitsuri Konroji. However, this week we are still picking the Love Hashira Mitsuri Konroji because, like last week, she was feeding Tanjiro, and anyone who brings the food, no matter their gender, someone brings the food, they're the waifu of the week for me these days. So there we go, 2 weeks in a row. Even though she kind of gets credit twice for the same instance of pancake giving, so it's kind of like cheating. But I don't know. 2 instances of her providing food is good enough for me.
Turtle, who's your waifu of the week?
To come to your defense, Sean, before I give my waifu of the week, the Love Hashira scene in this episode was extended, so we actually got to see the pancakes. Where last week, or last episode that we talked about it, we were told there would be pancakes. This time we saw the pancakes.
Good point, Turtle. She actually delivered. I didn't think we'd see the pancakes. I figured it was just like a gag scene, and then like we would just skip straight into the business. But no, they actually showed the pancakes. So
they showed the pancakes, and they looked tasty.
Yeah.
My waifu of the week this week is Dark Shadow, because I feel like he's the only character who actually did anything important, and I just think he's cool. He's got a little bit of that 90s edgelord to him, and I don't hate it. So, Dark Shadow, you win this week for me, buddy.
Yeah, I'm also going to go Dark Shadow because he was really the only character that did anything super awesome. So, go Dark Shadow.
Hey, hold up. Maybe we'll talk about it next week, but when you talk about that 90s edginess, Turtle, all I could think is that he has the Chunibyo syndrome. Anyone know Chunibyo?
I do not.
That's okay.
Educate me, sir.
Chunibyo is when apparently there's a phase a lot of middle schoolers in Japan go through where they pretty much go to class, like change their name or take on a persona, and pretty much just like pretend they have powers and stuff like that. It's like really cringe. Like imagine like you're in class and the teacher calls on you to read a passage of the book, and they'll be like, I don't know, Mike, read this passage, and you're like, I will read it, but only if you call me Dark Lord Michael. Like apparently Japanese students, actually some of them in middle school, like go through this kind of phase. And so they even make a reference to his Chunibyo syndrome, pretty much, or in one of the earlier episodes, I remember. But yeah, so apparently he's a little bit stuck in that, which is funny. Shout out to the show Chunibyo Love and Other Things. Very good slice of life show. Season 1 was fantastic. Season 2 was less so. But still, it was a fun ride.
Thank you all for joining us this week as we watch Demon Slayer and My Hero Academia. We hope you join us next week for episode 83 of the Anime Banter podcast, where we will have a roll of 3 because Mike is out on assignment. Please give us a 5-star review on all platforms that allow reviews. If you are listening on YouTube, please like the video, hit the notification bell, leave a comment, and subscribe to the channel. The Anime Banter podcast can be found on Facebook, X, Instagram, Threads, and YouTube. Thank you all for joining, and we will talk to you next week.